thank you for introduction, WS. Hello, everyone. My name is Vitaly, and
I'm Serhiy. Hi.
for last year and a half, we were working on a company called Enrivo, and we were building a game, Dragon's Fall. It's a MMO RPG game designed for mobile phones, and we'd really like to share a Google Play link with you, but the truth is that we didn't release it yet. And for now, the project development is frozen, and it's for a really unknown period of time. So today, you're not going to hear another success story, but rather lessons that we learned from this project.
Okay, so the first lesson, if you want to make a game, and it's your first game, don't make an MMO RPG, please. That's will not gonna work, and that's why. So what you need to do first is assemble a team. Yeah, we assembled a team out of Java enterprise developers, gave them a Unity 3D engine, and okay, guys, bring us a memory RPG. Patterns and experience of enterprise Java developers or any other developers will not work in a game industry. The patterns will not work, experience will not work. Actually, nothing will nothing will work. You need to learn this. You need to understand how games works. So it's better to it's better to start with something smaller, a small, simple project, just to prove that this team can work actually, not to start with a first-person shooter or MMORPG or something like this. What we have at the end is something like this, not really what we expected. And it happened because of lack of experience in our team and too large project, actually.
So second lesson is about team structure. We try to organize flat team structure where each team member is responsible for what he's doing and have equal influence, like designer or developer can propose something and we'll try to do that. In other words, we just omitted managers. We were deeply inspired by Valve. They proved that this team structure can work because they don't have managers. Everyone is equal, and everyone can propose something. But it doesn't work with us. After several months of development, we faced with the problem that we didn't have unified vision in our team, and not everyone agreed on what we are doing and how we are doing. There were still discussions about should we do a real-time fight or step-by-step, should everything be in 3D or 2D. So that was a problem. Another problem was undocumented features. As most part of team was developers, no one likes to write documentation, and we said yeah, let's develop this feature, but no one described it, doesn't document it, we didn't have acceptance criteria, and as a result, features were incomplete and had to be reworked after that. So why does it work for Valve but didn't work for us? Probably it's two completely different approaches. How do we build team? We just had a team of experienced developers that previously worked in outsourced companies, because mainly in Ukraine we have outsourced companies. And we just said, okay, let's have plain team structure, no managers, everyone is responsible. And we thought that this is enough, but actually it's not. In order to build a flat team structure, you have to go from ground up. You have to build one by one, selecting the right people for right positions with the right set of skills. It should be generalists, T-shaped people, just like Valve do. That's why it worked, because flat structure is their DNA, and you can't set something unnatural to existing team. Another big problem was missing team lead. According to Valve structure, there shouldn't be one official team lead, but there always should be one guy who keeps all project in his head, so other team members could check with him, if we are moving in the right direction, if this decision is right or not, does it fit into our deep target, like our conventions? So we didn't have this guy because each team member has part of his knowledge and no one who keeps everything in his head. To sum up this lesson, don't apply plain team structure, flat team structure to existing teams. If you want to do so, you can do, but only for a new company, and please make it like your DNA, like Valley do that.
Okay, the next thing. Remember those Java developers we hired for this project? If you will ask enterprise Java developer, what is first thing you need to do when you start a project? Its answer will be the architecture, the large, complicated scheme of how everything works. A lot of schemes, a lot of documentations, and so on. And this was what we did actually. We started to implementing game from menus, textures, large architecture, a lot of documentation, and nobody never saw a gameplay of our game actually. We first saw a gameplay after a year of development. First demo was like this. Yeah, that's part of our game. It was a lot of menus and a map where the character can go from one location to the other, which was actually just a beautiful, another beautiful menu. The actual gameplay, the combat mechanics, wasn't implemented. So we didn't even knew how it will work. It will be okay or not. So what is good thing to start with when you start any game, according to our experience, is to make a quick prototype without UI, without complicated architecture, without documentation, without textures, without images, without models, without everything, just to prove that your gameplay idea is are actually working. Just to prove that it will be fun to play this game, because you will never know. You can spend 2 years of development and then realize, oh, my game doesn't work actually. Yeah, I need to take all this stuff and throw it to a trash can. So the proof of concept, a quick prototype, it's a really great thing to start with when you're starting a new project, a new game.
So to go to the next lesson, I want to tell you a story. Initially, we had the idea that all content inside games should be populated through a nice web interface. All data should be stored on our backend and loaded to client when it first loads. And as our backend was written on Ruby and client-side on C#, we decided to select the probably most flexible and well-known from our previous experience format for data exchange, XML. And it worked really nice until our first demo, when I had a very challenging task to populate our demo with new data. And I spent 2 days, imagine that, I spent 2 days to write more than 1,500 lines of XML code, and 1 more day just to fix all typos and to make it actually work. So just because we selected probably not the best format for game development, and we didn't have time to build, obviously, a web interface for our first demo, I threw out 3 days of development just to populate data. So after the demo, we decided that this is totally red flag and we should change something. We made small research and found that Unity provides really nice tools and APIs to create your own editors using extending their editor. So in 2 weeks, we rewrote pretty everything that we had in our communication and data storage level. And what you see in slides is our editors for creating, editing, and previewing all assets inside game. So Unity allows it to do it very easily, and we found it on, after 6 months of development. So the lesson to learn from this is you have to know platform you are developing for. Yes, maybe it's good to move experience from previous projects. They could work, but just check. Maybe there are better solutions for that. And one more note about editors. We found that maybe it's not a new pipeline, but we found that with this approach of Unity editors, when you are developing new feature, we can create models for this feature, we can create editors for this feature, and at this point we can work in parallel with game design team. While they will be populating data, using our editors, we can continue working on that feature, and after that we will combine that all together.
Okay, next lesson is, it's always good to know that your game is working correctly and everything is working in your game. That's what we wanted to do on the start of development. So we decided that we will have a large, complicated continuous integration system with unit tests, integration tests, a lot of different kind of tests. And we, after each commit in a repository, we will have a full report of how the game is feeling, how the condition of the game, is everything works or not. So we started. With developing tests, unit tests with continuous integration, but after some point, it's probably after
second demo.
Yeah, 1.5 year.
No.
For some reason, the delivering a game became more important than having tests done. So we started to rush our development, forgot about tests, and what happened? It's at the end. The development process looked like if you want to make a small change, like you pull a lever here, the wall is falling in a mile away. So absolutely not connected things in the game started breaking just because you changed one simple and not really important line of code. So if you working on a large project, a large complicated project, it's really important to have continuous integration just to know that everything works correctly. Or probably it's not important for some kind of match 3 game or runner, but for MMO RPG it's really important. And that's it.
To sum up this short 5 lessons, it's definitely not that we learned from this, but we are limited on time. So to sum up everything, before you start working on your game, discover what a market needs. Research. Make a really deep research on what is indeed and what is maybe not popular right now, but try to predict what will be popular in half a year. Then collect small but very experienced team with project manager who can handle all documentation for developers. Build a nice prototype that is fun to play at the early stages. Deliver it to your target audience so you can get as much feedback as possible. And if your audience says that no, this is like not something that we want to play, just start from the beginning. Now make market research, small development teams, quick prototype, target audience. And repeat this process until you will get good feedbacks and you will be sure that this is exactly what market needs or will be indeed in half a year or 1 year. And to finish our presentation, I want to say that I want to quote a famous American writer, John Calvin Maxwell, that man, and in our case team, should be big enough to admit their mistakes, smart enough to take advantage of them, and strong enough to correct them. Thank you.
Okay, there's already one question.
I actually got two questions regarding your backend. First one is, why did you choose to make your backend by yourself, not use anything which is already out there? And the second one is, how much time did you spend for the backend?
Our company before making this game was working on a lot of games with complicated backend. It's text MMORPGs also, but not so complicated. And we used to have a lot of specialists really good in implementing large scale backends. And we used to have a lot of mechanics in this game which involved complicated because we decided to write it on our own. And I'm sorry, second question was how much time? It's hard to say because
it's one more hour mistake, like that we started to work on our backend. At some point, we decided to make our game for this period of time completely independent from backend, and just to rely on our mocks on Unity side. And on last 3 months before our beta test, because we had 2 open beta tests before we closed the project, we started to check in if our backend is actually working. And guess what? Yeah, it doesn't work, and we had to rewrite a lot. And when we were developing a lot of mechanics, we didn't took into account that we are working in not we are not working offline, and a lot of callbacks should be like we should wait for server, and there were a lot of problems that we didn't took into account about communication with server. So we didn't spend much. We spent like I guess 2 months at the beginning of the project, and last 3 or 4 months at the end.
Okay, any additional question? Yeah.
You talk about how important the testing was during the whole thing. Is there any tool that you used, and does Unity include anything integrated for unit testing?
We used the unit testing, which is part of .NET library, Mono, which Unity using, and we our server developer, backend developer, written a custom built server, which was building our game continuously. So that's it. And but by the way, Unity also has in-scene testing, so you can test behavior of your object inside the scene. It's more like beta feature, but this thing will come really soon.
Actually, I guess they already released a stable version of their unit tests, and you can use them. We even had the first day release set up for testing, but that was just the period when we started rushing. So we set up everything. We said, yeah, we will write unit tests, and then we started to write a lot of code instead of tests. Yeah, that. Any more questions?
No one? Yeah.
Are you going to continue to develop games now? By your own? Really?
We'd like, it will be really cool if it is our decision, but unfortunately we are leading development but not business, and it was a decision of the business to close the project. And maybe it was right decision, we'll never know that, but we'd like to continue, I guess.
Yeah, sure. It's never good when you start a project, spend 2.5 years, and then just throw it to somewhere. You really want to finish this.
We'd like to, but who knows? Yep, please.
So you say you made all these mistakes and you learn from them, but by the time you finish the project, you call it, you closed it or whatever. What was the state of the game at that point? Was it looking better? Was it all on track, or was it still chaos?
It was after second beta release. So we had 2 open beta releases, and they went pretty well.
It was closed beta.
First was closed, but you can easily get into it. It was kind of open. Okay. Everyone who was interested could get into it. So we were ready to release. Actually, we thought that after second release, we were making second beta just to fix the latest bugs connected to our latest integrations. So it was pretty solid. But as you know, like development is only half of the budget. Another half of the budget is marketing and making a lot of traffic for a game. Any other questions? We still have 10 minutes.
3?
3? Okay.
Okay, I think then, if no one else asks, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
you.